Hi, this is Nella from Ghost Ship Floating. I want to do a video today on the Lizzie Borden situation. I actually meant to get this out for Halloween, but I couldn't, so here we are. I know there's a lot of videos on this already, but I just wanted to see what the cards say. So I'm going to be using the Dark Grimoire Tarot, the Tarot of Haunted House, the Painted Tarot, and the Bones Arcana Tarot. But I'm going to start with the Dark Grimoire, and we'll just see what comes from. I'm still learning, so I'm not going to do reversals. But of course, if you see anything that I don't get out of the cards, just leave that in the comments below. Okay, so the first card that I got is the Ace of Pentacles. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. Second we got is the King of Chalices. And the third is the Knave of Chalices. And we have the Two of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles. And the Ace of Swords. So I think it's really interesting that the beginning and end are, they both have books in them. They're both closed, or at least sort of closed. So it just really reminds me of the beginning and end of a story. So it looks like the first chapter is the King of Chalices, or the King of Cups. I don't know if you can see very well, but I'm sure you might have this deck at home. He looks very thoughtful, you know, kind of contemplating either what he's feeling or what to do next. This reminds me of the Father, even though it's cups instead of, I would probably guess the Pentacles, based on how well he was doing with his finances. Still seems like him, and, you know, considering what to do about his financial situation and his family. You know, just a very pensive time, I would say, before this all happened. Then there is the Knave of Chalices. And some might think this is Lizzie. I'm getting more of an Emma Borden vibe from this. She just seems a little more calm and centered. than what I would expect to get from Lizzie. Lizzie seemed like she was more of a spitfire. So Emma, she has a little smile on her face. I think she's just kind of floating through life, trying to keep things as calm as possible in the family, and just get where she wants to in life. So I think that was her before her parents were murdered. Then we've got the Two of Swords. So that's blindfolded. I'm actually feeling like that's us. We're all, even all these years later, we're still kind of, playing for, to use the card imagery, the story, to each other. And you can see the animals in the crowd below are listening. But he's blindfolded. He doesn't know what's happening. He's just doing his best to play well. Then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe this is Lizzie? I'm not really sure. It's either Lizzie or someone else on the younger side. Maybe Maggie, the maid. Or I guess her name was Bridget, actually. I meant to relook up the case details. But I wanted to get this done when I could get it done. So whoever this is, they're focusing on the money, and the money has this golden glow. It's kind of like they're walking or riding towards the light. Although it looks like whatever animal they're riding wants to go in a different direction. But either way, they look pretty focused on where they would like to go. And then again, there's the last book. So I think that's what we're getting for the lead up to the big murder. If you want more details on the case, there are so many wonderful videos that people have done, both tarot and legal analysis, and when it comes to history, there are historical channels who have done videos on the subject. So if you want more information before or after this reading, there are just so many ones to choose from, and they're all wonderful. So next, I feel like the Tarot of Haunted House is perfect for during, the murder and the whole trial and fallout. Oh, and apologize if you hear any noise throughout this video. I unfortunately can't keep things quiet in the house forever. Okay. It's getting even darker, so I'm going to turn the light on. Hopefully you can see the cards better with this. Let me know below if you prefer it with or without the lamp. So we've got the Three of Cups. The Two of Cups. The King of Swords. The Justice card. The Queen of Swords. And the Fool. Okay. So let's start with the Three of Cups. Okay, to me it looks like Lizzie, it has to either be Lizzie or Emma. I'm getting a Lizzie vibe from this card. So it looks like she's drowning while her father and stepmother, they're up there celebrating, maybe a new financial partnership. Life is going pretty well for them. I don't know much about their marriage. I don't think anybody does in terms of, how romantically fulfilling it was. But I think financially they were pretty well off, even if they weren't living in the rich neighborhood that they could have been living in. But it looks like they're not really noticing that Lizzie and or Emma are, they're suffering. They're delving into their emotions. They're kind of drowning. And this, I know the Two of Cups is usually seen as a romantic card, and there was some gossip that Lizzie and their maid Bridget might have been having a covert relationship, but I'm actually getting this as kind of a sisterly pact between Lizzie and Emma. There has been talk that the father was abusive, so if that was going on, I wouldn't be surprised if the sisters had, kind of an agreement to look out for each other and stay together to protect each other from the father. Now, this is the King of Swords. He's looking at a chessboard. There we go, a little more focused for you. If it's hard for you to watch me zoning in and out, please just, have this on the background. I know sometimes videos can make you dizzy, so just do what's best for you. I'm getting that this is the murderer. Whoever it was, I don't know if it was Lizzie, or someone else who committed the murder. But whoever it is definitely, they've got the chessboard, they are looking at the pieces. They're making sure everything is in place so they can make the next move. Then next we have the Justice card. And I find the direction that this nurse is looking in to be interesting. I'll get to that in a minute, but it looks like she and the legal system are looking in the wrong direction. They're looking at, someone who didn't commit the murder, but they are focused on them. And in this case, that would be Lizzie, since she was the one who was tried and acquitted for the murder. And I don't know if she had anything to do with the murder, but in terms of physically killing them, it looks like maybe she was not the person who physically carried out the crimes. Then we've got the Queen of Swords. This is giving to me a real Lizzie vibe. She loved indulging herself, but also, she was a Sunday school teacher. She probably read quite a bit, at least of religious materials. And you see, she's got that fancy dress on. She looks a little worried there, but she's still holding on to herself. And then here is where I think this is Lizzie. She's fleeing. Let me see if I can get that to focus a little better. There we go. She is running as fast as she can from the oncoming storm. And that's why I thought that the Justice card, that's looking at her. That's looking at Lizzie. And I'm getting the feeling that she at least feels that she was falsely accused and is or is afraid that her past is going to catch up with her, and she is running away. You know what? Let me try to get a clarification card on who that King of Swords is. Okay, this is interesting. We've got a 9 of Cups. So I am getting a real, mob boss feel from this card. He's the one in the community that you go to if you want something taken care of. And then we've got the 8 of Cups. Yeah, so, I wouldn't be surprised if, this is just for entertainment, but let's just say that the father was abusing Lizzie and Emma. Either one or both of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Lizzie for protection, hired this bruiser right there, to come in and take care of the parents, so they wouldn't be in any more danger. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Also, there are a lot more Cups and Swords cards, and there have been some Pentacles, but definitely more of a feelings and thoughts vibe so far to this reading. So I'm not getting quite the financial motive that a lot of people have guessed was at work for this murder. I'm guessing more that, the parents, the dad and the stepmother were getting, justice was being served. I'm going to move on to the Painted Tarot. First one we have is 10 of Wands. I think that's the first Wands card we've had. Interesting. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And we have the Eight of Pentacles. Then the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Cups. So a lot of eights coming out here. And like I said, I am new to tarot. I'm not sure what the number 8 signifies, but there is a lot of 8 energy here. But still, let's start from the beginning. Got the 10 of Wands here. You know, carrying a heavy burden. I feel like both sisters, in the wake of the murder, they, you know, had a lot of social expectations placed on them, you know, how they should be grieving, what they should be doing next. I think it's really important to remember that even while they're you know, someone has died, you still have to go on with your life at some point, and there is unfortunately a lot to organize right after someone's death. So even if you are still in the grieving process, that unfortunately doesn't mean that you don't have to worry about where are you going to stay, how are you going to afford food. You know, this is not something that you can always plan for, especially when it comes to older cases when, you know, women don't have a lot of power, you know, it can be hard to, you know, decipher between when they are being callous and don't care, and when, you know, they're just powering through and trying to figure out, what to do next. So, with that in mind, here's the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like at this point, right after the parents' murder, anything could happen at this point, you know, whether they get to keep their house or they have to move somewhere else. Where are they going to get money from moving forward? Even with an inheritance, you know, they still have a lot of practical stuff to figure out in terms of what they want their lives to look like moving forward. I do see some sorrow and grieving here, you know, looking at the money, but, you know, it's not as emotionally fulfilling as they would want. You know, they might have felt, even though they were older at that point, that they might have not had the loving parents that they wish they had had, especially since their biological mother died. And from what I've read, they had sometimes a good relationship with their dad, but at other times a very strained relationship. I feel like both Lizzie and Emma, after their deaths, were kind of, a little melancholy about what their life would have been like, if their mother had lived, or they had a stepmother that they had gotten along with better. Then here's another 8. This looks like a little later to me. They're moving past the challenges. The ones are in the background. That seems like the trial to me. Lizzie was, at least legally speaking, victorious since she was acquitted. There wasn't enough evidence to convict her of murder. Whether or not she was guilty, I don't know. But it looks like in her mind she is ready to move on. But there is grief, a lot of grief here. I see these swords as the swords of the community. She wanted to stay, where she grew up and, with the people that she loved. But, I'm seeing that, she, I see this as the shunning that she had from the community. Not much is known about Emma, so I'm not sure if she got the same ire from, their friends that Lizzie did, but at least one or both of them looks pretty sad here. And then we've got the 8 of Cups. Now I know this is reminding me of the estrangement of the sisters. They lived apart and were not in touch for many, many years after the murders. But I'm getting with the moon that, they still love each other to the moon and back. They just can't be in each other's lives anymore, whether that's because one or both found out, maybe Emma found out that Lizzie was responsible for the murders, or maybe, they just had differing needs from life. I know that Emma was not into society and partying like Lizzie was. It could just be that, she wanted a quieter life and had to go far away for that. But either way, that's what I'm getting from this draw. And then I'm gonna end with the Bones Arcana. I kind of want to get, if I can, what the Bordens have to say about the situation all these years later. I am trying to be as respectful as I can be here. I just kind of want to see, if with some distance there's maybe more insights into what happened back then, or something that they want us to know now. We'll have to see what the cards say. So I'm getting the 2 of Swords. That's the second time this card has popped up. The first time was in the first deck, the Dark Grimoire, the Blindfolded Violinist. We've got another 8 here, the 8 of Wands. That's also come out twice. The Devil. Interesting. The Sun. The 5 of Pentacles. and the Page of Pentacles. So let me just look at these for a little bit. There's not quite as much imagery, so I have to figure it out a little more. Again, if anyone has anything to say about the number 8 in terms of tarot symbology, that would be really interesting. And or 2s, since 2s have come up, the 2 of Swords has come up a few times. So this time, in terms of the 2 of Swords, I'm getting, it's blindfolded again, but I'm getting more of a, this battle that we've been, of truth that we've been facing ever since, it's either Lizzie or it's not Lizzie who committed these murders. And we still don't know the truth, hence the blindfold. And let me put these together for you. Looks like the 8 of Wands, the wands are coming towards the devil. So I feel like, all these years later, we're still trying to figure out what happened. That's our goal, that's our motivation. We're, some of the way there. I know 8s are closer to the end of the cycle than the beginning, but it's leading to the devil. Temptation. I don't know if we're quite prepared for what the truth actually is. The sun is here, though, so I am getting that there will be some illumination at some point, whether that's, through genetic genealogy or more historical studies, psychology. I'm not quite sure at this point, but the sun is here. I'm seeing that the truth will probably come out at some point. Maybe in our lifetimes, maybe not. Five of Pentacles, though, I'm not getting that we're going to be very happy about it. The truth might come out in the winter, though. I'm seeing the snow. But, and there are those church windows. Lizzie was the Sunday school teacher. I'm wondering, looking at this imagery a little closer, if maybe she organized, a hit through the church. This is not to vilify the church. For those of you watching who are religious, I am just speculating about whether that might have happened. Churches, especially in the past, have been, a little more in charge of things than they might be now. And then there is the Page of Pentacles. I'm kind of getting a ferryman vibe off of this Page of Pentacles. In mythology, I think it's Chiron. I could be wrong about that. But the ferryman who ferries souls to the next realm. I'm seeing what might be in the background, the next realm. So I'm wondering if one or multiple Borden spirits are still hanging around here, and they might have to pay some sort of toll in order to fully move on. Let me see what other card comes up. Yeah, okay, so we have the Two of Pentacles and the Chariot, which confirms my guess that it is the Ferryman. Yeah, I'd say in order to fully move on, they have to either pay some sort of toll or, you know, figure out what really happened in order to be at peace. So I hope someday they can be. Anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you thought in the comments below. See you next time.